They called her a traitor for refusing to fight, so they beat her down in front of the crowd, stripped of honor, chained and bleeding, her blue skin bruised, her long white hair matted with dust. Her horns cracked the ground when they threw her from the platform like waste. And just before her head hit the stone, he caught her. A human, unarmed, unwanted, but unshaken. He didn't care what she'd done, only what they were doing. He carried her broken body from the arena and swore under his breath, "You don't die like this. Not while I breathe." And that moment sparked the one thing they never expected, her will to live. She didn't scream when the chains cracked against her spine. She'd done that the first time, and they liked it too much. So now she knelt silent, blue skin streaked with dried blood, her curved horns chipped at the tips, and her long white hair clumped to her back like threads soaked in oil. The crowd around the platform wasn't cheering anymore. They watched with that hollow silence of people told they were witnessing justice, but knowing it looked far too much like cruelty. Her name had already been stripped from the record. Her rank burned. Her unit disbanded. The crime? Disobeying the order to slaughter the surrendered. Her people had called her a hero once. Now they called her broken. And today, in front of the high tribunal, she was to be made into an example. Strike protocol, failure. Punishment, public collapse. That's what they called it. Public collapse. A slow, ritualized torture done under law. She didn't flinch when they hit her again, just swayed forward, long corner-shaped ears twitching slightly as her thighs barely held her up. Her fitted tunic had been torn to rags, barely covering her. Her strong, curvy body, once worshipped by her kin as sacred, now trembled on display. Her glow spine flickered like a dying ember down her back. The lash came again. She fell to her knees. And then, like something divine leaving the flesh, she toppled forward. They let her fall. But she didn't hit the ground. Arms caught her. Arms wrapped in human cloth, shaking not from fear, but fury. A man, one of theirs, stepped into the ring and caught her like she was a person, not an object. He knelt, cradling her bleeding frame against his chest, his voice low and trembling. "I've got you. I've got you." The guards hesitated. No one moved. She looked up dazed, her lips cracked, her eyes dim, and whispered, "Why?" He didn't answer. Just lifted her, light in his arms despite her strength, and turned to leave. Someone shouted to stop him. Someone raised a rifle. But when the girl groaned and curled into his chest like a wounded child, the rifles slowly lowered. The tribunal wouldn't shoot their own for showing mercy. Not today. Not with 1,000 eyes watching. He carried her out, step by step, ignoring the blood soaking his arms. She passed out before the corridor ended. When she woke, it was to heat and pressure, blankets, a clean bunk, light painkillers humming through her blood. Her horns throbbed. Her ears rang. Her whole body felt cracked. But she was alive. And when she turned her head, he was there. The human. Sitting in silence, a damp cloth in his hand. She tried to speak. He stopped her. "You're safe." "Why?" she croaked. "I didn't save anyone." He gave a hollow laugh. "You didn't kill innocents. That's enough for me." She stared at him. "You'll be labeled a sympathizer." He looked down. "Then let them label me." The days passed in slow pain. He kept her fed, small meals, warming broths, protein strips. Her strength returned slowly, but her mind remained shattered. She couldn't sit without flinching, couldn't rest without jerking awake. But he never touched her without permission. He spoke only when she wanted to hear him. And every day, her spine glowed a little brighter. One evening, she stood with trembling legs, her short top hugging her upper body again, her thigh-high cloth wraps freshly cleaned. She stood before the ship's small mirror, staring at her reflection, at the cracked horn, the bruises, the soft healing glow of her spine. "I was meant to be more," she whispered. He stood behind her, not touching, but near enough to hear. "You still are. They took everything." "Not everything," he said gently. "They couldn't take your choice." That night she couldn't sleep. Her body still hurt, but the silence hurt worse. She found him alone in the corridor, sitting with his head back against the wall. She sat beside him, knees brushing. For a long time they said nothing. Then softly she whispered, "I was scared." "I know. But when you caught me, I didn't feel weak." He turned his head. "You weren't. You endured. That's strength." She looked down, fingers curling into the fabric of her wrap. "No one's ever carried me before." "You needed to be held," he said. "Not broken." Her throat tightened, and without asking, she leaned into him, her horns brushing his shoulder, her long ears flicking softly against his neck. He didn't pull away. He just let her rest there. Breathe there. Heal there. The next day she trained. Slow stretches. Rebuilding her balance. Her figure regained shape, thick thighs flexing as she moved, chest rising with full breath, spine glowing brighter as life returned to her veins. She wore a new short top, black and sleeveless, with fitted utility shorts. She moved like a shadow learning to become light again. He watched, always from the edges, never asking more than she gave. Weeks later, a patrol came for them. The tribunal had tracked her. They offered clemency for her return, execution for him if he didn't comply. She stepped between them. Her spine flared to life, lighting the corridor in violet fire. "He saved me," she said, "and now I choose to save him." They didn't expect her strength. They didn't expect her rage. And they didn't expect the blast of pure energy that pulsed from her when he was threatened. Her roar filled the air, full of pain, defiance, memory. They fled, and when the silence returned, she turned to him, breathing hard, glowing like a star. He stepped forward and touched her face gently. "You're not broken." She leaned into his touch, trembling. "I'm still afraid. I'll be here." She closed her eyes. "Then I can be brave." That night, in the quiet dark, they lay beside each other, her body curled against his chest, his arms around her back. Her horns nestled into his shoulder, her long ears twitching gently at his heartbeat. And for the first time in a long, brutal life, she slept without fear. Because someone had caught her when she fell, and refused to let go. Ask ChatGPT.